Have you noticed that people keep arguing about 8 GB VRAM? Some say it's perfectly fine. Others say it's completely outdated. And somehow, both sides are right. Because the real question isn't whether 8 GB works. The real question is what you're trying to do with it. For years, 8 GB was the sweet spot. If you bought a graphics card with 8 GB of VRAM in 2018, 2019, or even 2020, you were in great shape. Most games ran at 1080p. Textures were smaller. Ray tracing was either brand new or not used at all, and very few games could actually fill that memory buffer. But gaming has changed. Modern games are dramatically larger than they were just a few years ago. Open worlds are bigger, textures are sharper. Character models contain far more detail, and game engines are pushing visual fidelity harder than ever. The problem is that all of those improvements require memory. Lots of it. Think of VRAM as your GPU's workspace. Every texture, shadow, reflection, model, and effect needs space on that desk. The more detailed a game becomes, the more space it needs. And lately, that desk has started feeling very small. Recent titles like Hogwarts Legacy, The Last of Us Part 1, and Final Fantasy XVI have been shown to exceed 8 GB of VRAM usage in certain settings, even at resolutions many gamers still use today. But the games themselves aren't the only reason. Ray tracing has made the situation even worse. When developers add realistic reflections, shadows, and advanced lighting, the GPU has to store additional data to calculate those effects. That means more VRAM consumption before you've even started turning settings up. And then there are AI-powered features, frame generation, advanced upscaling techniques, more complex rendering pipelines. These technologies can improve performance, but they also increase memory requirements in many situations. So what actually happens when you run out of VRAM? Your graphics card starts using system memory instead. And that's bad news. VRAM is designed to be extremely fast and sits right next to the GPU. System RAM is much slower and farther away. The result? Stuttering, texture pop-in, frame time spikes, blurry textures, and those annoying moments where a game feels laggy even though your FPS counter looks fine. Now here's where the debate gets interesting. Is 8 GB unusable? Not even close. If you play games like Valorant, Counter-Strike 2, Rocket League, Fortnite, League of Legends, or many older AAA titles, 8 GB is still perfectly capable. At 1080p with sensible settings, millions of gamers continue to have a good experience. Community discussions and hardware testing consistently show that 8 GB can still be enough for esports and many mainstream games. The issue isn't today's performance, it's longevity. When you're buying a new GPU in 2026, you're not just buying it for today's games. You're buying it for the games that haven't launched yet, and that's where 8 GB starts looking risky. Many hardware reviewers and testers now consider 12 GB to 16 GB a much safer target for modern gaming, especially for 1440p, high-resolution textures, ray tracing, and future releases. In fact, one of the biggest complaints surrounding several recent graphics cards isn't their raw performance. It's that the GPUs themselves are powerful enough to run demanding settings, but their memory capacity can become the bottleneck first. That criticism shows up repeatedly in enthusiast communities and hardware discussions. So, is 8 GB dead? No. If you already own an 8 GB graphics card, there's no reason to panic. For a lot of games, it's still completely fine. But if you're buying a brand new GPU today and expecting it to last several years, 8 GB is no longer the comfortable sweet spot it once was. Games got bigger. Textures got heavier. Ray tracing became common. And modern graphics simply demand more memory than they used to. The GPU got stronger, the games got harder, but the memory stayed the same. And that's why 8 GB VRAM isn't enough anymore. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay on the spec sheet.